Hey NASCAR fans, Shane Carlson here with you on Thursday, getting ready for the Budweiser Duels that are actually set to take place in about a half an hour from right now. Um, and the Budweiser Duels are the final step to setting the field for the Daytona 500 for the race on Sunday. Last Sunday we had pole qualifying, which set the front two positions, so first and second, and Austin Dillon was able to get the pole in the number three, and qualifying second was Martin Truex Jr. So those guys are locked into the Daytona 500. No matter where they finish tonight in the duels, unless they wreck and have to go to a backup car, they're gonna be starting on the front row, 1, 2. But for the rest of the field, it's a bit of a different story. Everybody else has to go through these two preliminary races tonight, and based on whatever race they're in is how they qualified last Sunday. And all the odd numbered positions where they qualified are in the first race, and the even numbered positions are in the second race. So um, I guess the biggest storyline for me, going to be watching tonight anyway, is going to be the 3 car and the 78 car, Martin Truex Jr. and Austin Dillon. What are they going to do? Because they already have a locked-in spot. They already know they're starting from the front row in the Daytona 500. So do they really want to push their car to see, what they can do? Because I know the key is going to be trying to find the balance for those two guys. They want to know what their car can do, but in the same time, they don't want to get into a spot where they're 3 or 4 wide in the corner, and there's the potential to wreck the car, and then they would have to go to the back of the field for the Daytona 500. So I think just trying to find the balance there. I think Austin Dillon had said today on TV that if they get into a spot they don't like, they're just gonna fall back and then just ride the rest of the race out. So we'll see what happens there. RCR, Richard Childress Racing, has looked super strong throughout all of Speed Week so far, and that's who Austin Dillon drives for. And actually, Martin Truex Jr. also gets his motors from Richard Childress Racing, Earnhardt Childress Racing engines. So the RCR guys have looked really, really good. They've all been fast, and even the kind of satellite teams off of them, like Germain Racing and Martin Truex Jr.'s team, Furniture Row Racing, they both lease motors from Richard Childress Racing, and they both looked really strong so far this year. So I think, from what I've seen so far, I think Richard Childress Racing has the advantage over the other teams so far. But anything can happen in the races. That's pretty much a crapshoot when it comes to the Daytona 500 in a big race like that. As for tonight, I'm going to pick Ryan Newman winning in the Budweiser Duel race number 1. He's also racing for Richard Childress Racing. He's looked really strong so far. And I'm going to pick Brad Keselowski in the number 2 Ford out of the second race tonight. He and Logano have worked pretty well together as teammates, and over watching some practice, I think they've gelled pretty well this year. And I think Brad's ready to take that step and step into the victory lane at Daytona. Yeah, those are my 2 picks. But along with some of the other guys in the first race, we got some big shooters actually in the first race. We have Biffle, Dale Jr. is going to be starting 4th. Joey Logano is in there, as I mentioned before, Matt Kenseth. And actually, those guys were involved in a practice wreck earlier in the week. So they'll be in backup cars. Kevin Harvick is also in the first race, Tony Stewart and Danica Patrick. Those are some of the big names in the first race. In the second duel, we have Brad Keselowski, Jeff Gordon, Paul Menard, who's been fairly fast this week in Speed Weeks, Jimmy Johnson. We have Denny Hamlin, who won the Sprint Unlimited earlier this week. Trevor Bayne, former 500 winner. And yeah, those are some of the bigger shooters from duel number 2 tonight. So the first race is set to go green around 6 o'clock. And it's going to be 150 miles for 60 laps, as is the second one. And I think it'll be really exciting because there's 48 cars battling for 43 starting spots in the 500. And based on where they finish in these races is where they're going to be starting for the most part on Sunday. And if you do the math, 48 minus 43 is 5, and that means 5 cars are going to be left out of this thing. And so, I mean, we're going to be seeing a lot of drivers taking chances, especially near the rear of these dual races as we reach the end of the race. So watch for that. Some crazy things have been known to happen in these dual races. But I also think these dual races produce some of the best pure racing we see all season, because they don't pay points, but they pay for an entry to get into the Daytona 500, which is the Super Bowl of NASCAR. And the races just don't get bigger than the Daytona 500. So going to be really, really exciting tonight to watch. I'm looking forward to it. And as I mentioned before, my picks are Ryan Newman coming out of the first duel and Brad Keselowski from the second race. And tomorrow I should have another video up previewing the whole Daytona weekend. This is just for the Budweiser Duels tonight, so I'll know a little bit more about what the 500 might be looking like after these dual races tonight. But anyway, enjoy the races tonight. Hopefully you get to catch them live on Fox Sports 1. If not, I'll keep you posted. Thanks.